Well, it was another chilly start out there early this morning with wake-up temperatures in the mid-40s at Bush Field. Moving forward this week, we are going to notice a good bit of a warm-up for those morning temps. We'll stay in the upper 50s tonight, and then by Thursday, very similar, waking up in the upper 50s to near 60. These warmer temperatures are going to be thanks to a lot of clouds that are going to move in. So this is all thanks to a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico, and also we have major Hurricane Lydia that's going to cross over Mexico. So that's adding some tropical moisture to our recipe as well. So we are expecting fairly decent cloud coverage across the area starting tonight, lasting throughout the day Wednesday. We do look dry for the rest of this evening and tonight, and then most of our Wednesday, at least through the early afternoon, there's not going to be much rain in our forecast. But once we get closer to sunset tomorrow, all the way through Wednesday night and the first half of our Thursday, we are expecting very high rain chances, close to an inch of rainfall across most of the spots across the region is what we're expecting. So take advantage of some dry weather this evening. Pleasant out there, mid to upper 70s, even a few spots still close to 80 degrees, Waynesboro, Gibson, and Sparta out there. A zoomed in view of the metro, you can see Martinez 78, Daniel Field 78, and North Augusta are currently at 77. Nice evening on tap. We're just going to notice building cloud cover as we head into later tonight. Temperature is very comfortable, though, in the 80s and dropping into the 60s. We'll have an update on that rainfall in just a bit, but let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, here's a live look at I-20 and Riverwatch Parkway, and not really seeing too many traffic issues at the moment, at least not slowing down traffic too much on the interstate. Riverwatch Parkway just kind of a little bit busy, but moving okay. Looking at exit 190 here, Lewiston Road, Grovetown, usual backup of traffic off the exit here, and Lewiston Road has been pretty busy here at the overpass, so just a heads up, maybe a little bit slow moving there. We do have this cloud cover starting to move in overhead. You can see it from our tower cam. Have an update on those rain chances for you in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks, Riley. 4 days into the... An ex-football player is filing a lawsuit against the University of South Carolina, alleging the university did nothing when he was assaulted. Camara Reynolds' lawsuit details an attack he says happened back in 2020. He says he was lured into a stairwell in the athletic dorms, then beaten by 6 other student athletes. Part of the attack was caught on surveillance footage. Now, despite this evidence head injury, Reynolds says USC not only did nothing after he filed a police report, but the university also hinted.
My son getting attacked by 6 young men. He's getting attacked. And to see that happen, but the whole city, Gamecock Nation, Columbia, South Carolina, we got humiliated.
Reynolds is now suing the 6 students allegedly involved in the attack, as well as the university's athletic department and the owners of the athletic dorm where the attack happened. He is asking for nearly $2 million in damages. A notorious Christmas Eve murder that shook South Carolina will be featured on a national crime show this week. In 2014, 2 Good Samaritans picked up John Villarreal, who was hitchhiking in the upstate. The surviving victim says they felt bad for him, but Villarreal shot both victims and threw them in a ditch and stole their car. He later pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. Now, this Thursday, the case will be subject of an episode of a A&E new series called a new crime series called Interrogation Raw. South Carolina sits at the top of a list for eviction notices, according to new data. Eviction Lab data states that the Palmetto State currently sits at 68% for eviction filings for the past year, which is above the national average. One of the largest reasons for this is the lack of funding assistance available for renters post-pandemic.
Combination of eviction moratoria and emergency rental assistance really helped to drive these numbers down. And as those protections have evaporated, we're finding ourselves back where we were.
In South Carolina, the average cost of an eviction notice is $30 to $40, while the national average is closer to $120. Now, experts believe South Carolina's rate is higher because it's cheaper to turn to eviction rather than working with renters. Now, experts say the best way to make a change is to fight imbalance in our communities and leave eviction filings as the final option. Happening now, the Emmanuel County Health Department is helping you get vaccinated without you having to leave your car. Through 7 this evening, you can get both the latest COVID and flu vaccinations through your car window. This is at the Health Department building in Swainsboro. Most insurances will be accepted. Well, the flu and other viral illnesses are starting to circulate. Here's a live look at the current data from the CDC on flu rates. This data is as of the last week of September. Georgia starting to enter the moderate category for the flu activity that you can see there, right there on your screen. And this is the current CDC data for COVID hospitalizations in our area. All counties in both Georgia and South Carolina are now back in the green. Well, new data released today breaking down how South Carolina schools are performing. We'll have everything you need to know coming up in just a few minutes. Riley?
Well, we have seen less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall so far this month, but we have a lot of rain moving in between Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon. We'll have a look at it just after break.
Time and
The Mike Hostel Law Firm.
Well, a beautiful view down the Savannah River, looking at the below dam recreation area there at the dam, and starting to look, maybe we got some fall color going on. Some of these trees maybe turn a little bit yellow, maybe they're just a little bit brown because it has been fairly dry. We're starting to build in some abnormally dry conditions, but another beautiful afternoon. We're currently at 77 degrees there in Augusta, and most spots are currently in the upper 70s, but we did briefly hit the 80s out there earlier today. Staying dry this evening and tonight, we are going to notice a lot of clouds moving in for the rest of tonight. That is going to keep our morning temperatures tomorrow much warmer than what they've been. So this morning we're at 44 degrees. Temperatures tomorrow morning will be close to 15 degrees warmer, most likely upper 50s right around daybreak. Now with the cloud cover throughout the day Wednesday, that is going to keep our high temperatures a little bit cooler than average, and that we'll likely see those highs stay in the upper 70s to maybe briefly hit 80 in a few spots. Mostly dry through Wednesday afternoon. I would imagine heading to the bus stop and heading home from school, there's not much rain out there, but as we get closer to sunset tomorrow, especially Wednesday night and throughout the day Thursday, that's when our rain chances do look much higher. Here's our setup. So we have a disturbance Invest 93L in the Bay of Campeche that's slowly drifting north. We also have major hurricane Lydia that's about to cross into Mexico and cross over Mexico into the Gulf of Mexico. And then both of these systems just going to combine with the frontal system that will provide fairly high rain chances for us Wednesday night through Thursday morning. Already starting to see some of this high-level cloud cover push through, so this is actually cool cloud cover to see some sun optics. You can see your sun dogs, 22-degree halos, pretty cool stuff. So look up at the sky. You may see something pretty cool out there. Now, as we head into Wednesday, remember, through the early afternoon, not much rain for us. We are going to be very cloudy across the region, though, and that is going to keep those highs generally in the 70s tomorrow afternoon. That rain's going to be building our way as we head into late Wednesday, so this is just before midnight tomorrow, and the rain will just kind of be pretty steady through at least Thursday morning all the way up until around lunchtime Thursday. Later into our Thursday afternoon, we're expecting to dry out, maybe see some clearing. It is going to be a little bit breezy on the backside of this system. We'll likely see these northeast wind gusts, possibly up to and over 20 miles an hour at times. And then on Friday, this is going to be our next rainmaker. This will bring us the opportunity for some rain late Friday into early Saturday. And the timing of that rainfall appears to be a little bit more tricky. Now, with the rain we're expecting Wednesday night through at least the first half of our Thursday, possibly up to 2+ inches of rain for places like Swainsboro, Millen, and Sylvania. The closer you get to I-20, you can see those rain totals really drop off. So it's going to be highly dependent on where you live with what type of rain you're expecting over the next 48 hours. So I would say if you're north of I-20, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch. For us here in Augusta, a little bit over 1/2 an inch. But the further south you get to I-16, that's where those rain totals are going to be much higher, potentially between 2 to 3 inches. And that's where we're going to have to monitor the risk maybe for some isolated flash flooding issues. Now, once we get past our Friday, we are looking at a mostly dry weekend. An early shower possible Saturday, but mostly dry in the afternoon, and cooling things off by Sunday.
All right, thanks, Raleigh. Many South Carolina schools are performing better today on testing than they were just a few years ago. That's according to a new report unveiled today, which also shows South Carolina still has work to do to get all students ready for life after the classroom. Our State House reporter Mary Green has more from Barnwell County.
The annual school report cards were released Tuesday here at Kelly Edwards Elementary School in Barnwell County. They show how schools and districts as a whole are performing across South Carolina.
This school shows that with hard work and hope,
anything is possible. Our children can achieve.
5 years ago, Kelly Edwards Elementary School scores were considered unsatisfactory by state standards. Now they're in the excellent range, and the State Department of Education says these new scores show about half of South Carolina students attend a school scoring as excellent or good. Meanwhile, the number of schools scoring in the average or unsatisfactory range dropped by nearly 10% from last year. Done, especially to catch the number of students testing as college and career ready up with the much higher on-time graduation rates, and to improve math and science scores.
The data looks even more alarming, unfortunately, when we separate out groups like pupils in poverty and students of color.
And Superintendent Weaver says one of her budget requests for the General Assembly next year will be money for a new program to improve math scores, building on a strategy already in place targeting literacy. Reporting in Williston, I'm Mary Green.
And Weaver says money put in the current state budget will also allow schools to implement more one-on-one tutoring to catch up students who fell behind during the pandemic. Well, powerful voices rising up and sharing their stories. Just ahead, how music is joined together with activism in Georgia.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group. It's not.
If you're calling all,
Call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
What makes the Eichholz Law Firm different?
For starters, we've served this community for over 45 years.
And we know that every client is unique. We consider you friends, neighbors, and family.
We prove it in the way we fight tirelessly for your justice.
Let the Eichholz Law Firm fight for the justice you deserve.
CBS.
Well, they say music soothes the soul, and the voices that make up the Atlanta Gay Men's Chorus does that for so many people. The group was formed more than 40 years ago, and through evolution and expansion, the voices of note now include women from all backgrounds. Take a look.
From the Atlanta Gay Men's Chorus have signified unity since its birth in the 80s. The group celebrating triumph on stage the past 43 years.
Let's think back at what was happening in 1981, the AIDS crisis, and things that marginalized of LGBTQ people at that time.
Voices of Note Executive Director David Aurelio says it was a time when people in the LGBTQ plus community were desperate for reassurance.
We did a lot of service, giving people a lot of hope, being there to help people mourn some of the people they were losing. And so that's the essence of what we do. And so the amount of people and organizations we've touched over 43 years has been immense.
Impact felt through song and goodwill.
This organization has been nothing but open and accepting of me. When I first joined the chorus, I was out to a few people, like my friends, some family members, but I wasn't out to my parents.
Aaron De Silva says it took more than courage for him to tell his mom and dad that he was gay.
They are conservative Catholics, so they took it a little hard. They're opening up to the idea of me being gay.
The chorus became his safe haven.
I've gotten so much help and advice when it comes to my spirituality, so much advice, just general life advice.
By 2014, what was known as the Atlanta Feminist Chorus was dissolving, making way for another dynamic sound.
The Atlanta Women's Chorus was formed, and then under the umbrella, because they took on marginalized women's voices and took up causes for them to say, like, hey, we want something to say. So both choruses utilize music is a vehicle to kind of inspire dialogue and drive social equity through artistic excellence.
The women's chorus, comprised of members of the LGBTQ plus community and heterosexual allies who all have a passion for singing.
Go forward wide, make them hear you, make them hear.
And they are very good too, and many of these singers will perform at Atlanta Pride this weekend. Riley?
Well, it is Tuesday, so we got our latest winner for the Plunkett Heating and Air Sunshade giveaway. Congratulations to Amy Fierro from Aiken, South Carolina. To get your own sunshade, just go to WRDW.com, click on contests, and you can enter your email right there. Now look at our 7-day forecast just after a quick break.
They get better when you call my dad.
Well, have you ever heard of Fat Bear Week? Well, it's a bracket-style tournament held by the National Park Service where people bet on how fat bears will get while they gorge themselves with salmon for hibernation. The predictions in betting can get pretty serious for us. Even Riverbank Zoo chance to vote in the semifinals to see who will win, and after some deliberation here, he cast his vote in for Grazer, which seems ironic considering that they're just, stuffing themselves, but voting just closed for the Fat Bear winner. We should know the winner by tomorrow. I've seen some of the photos, and they are some chunky bears, Riley.
They are very healthy boys, and
I don't know if healthy. You're calling them fat. Healthy.
They're going to be healthy once they come out of hibernation. Yeah,
the
once
cut
they
is going to
fast
be
for a little
insane.
bit.
The cut will be insane.
It is really crazy though, because on the website, if you go to vote, you can actually slide a thing over to see the before and after, and it's just insane how much weight these bears actually put on. But
eat it.
Absolutely, and they actually do have to hibernate up in Alaska. They're going to see a lot of darkness for a couple months, and it will be very cold. So best of luck to all our bear friends up there. Luckily, we are a little bit warmer this afternoon. Looking over Clarksville Lake, a little bit of a breezy afternoon for us, but temperatures very comfortable. Upper 70s to low 80s. A little bit of a breeze out of the southwest. Currently just above 10 miles an hour, but still very dry air in place. Remember, late into the day Wednesday, we are expecting those rain chances to go up, and that will stick around through at least the first half of our Thursday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We'll have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break as News 12 Live at 5 continues.
This is not you.
It's not me.